right. So this is exciting to be able to get real insight into the difficulties of winning wrongful death cases. And it's been interesting to hear John talk a little bit about his experiences. He's had many, but he highlighted one key one. In this episode, we're going to ask John about any case studies that he has concerning wrongful death or negligence, because I know this is something that people, suffer because of the negligence of someone else, or maybe a company or a neighbor or something. So, John, can you tell us a little bit about a case study where you actually had to fight and win on behalf of a client concerning negligence?
Sure, sure. One such case, in a topic I like to talk about, is what's called negligent security type cases.
Okay.
And
that means,
pardon me?
I'm sorry, I asked you what it means, but I think you were about to define it like a good lawyer.
Yeah, a little bit. So, starting off, hey, we live in a dangerous world, and there's dangers, all around us, no matter where we go. We think we're in a safe environment, but until something happens, we think we're safe. But one of the things about the law is that, as it relates to property owners, and the law imposes upon every property owner or people who are in control of property, is to make sure that those who are invited on the property, they are protected from any dangerous type conditions that may exist. And a common one that we see in premises liability cases is, well, there was a water on the floor, or there was a ditch, or something that somebody fell in. But there's, under these premises liability cases, there's also something called negligent security. And there are times, for example, that people are victims of either getting seriously injured or even killed while on the property of others. And this could be, for example, at the mall, or it could be at the community association, or the apartment complex, or the business building. Okay. And it could be as a result of criminal conduct of other parties. And you would think, well, how could somebody be held responsible for someone else's criminal conduct? Well, the law says you can be held responsible. And we had most recently a case involving the shooting of a youth here in South Florida, who was a fine young gentleman in high school and had great aspirations. And it was a very sad story. But in a community apartment complex, there was if you could use a better words, a drive-by shooting. And we were able to represent this individual's family, and a very compelling story. And it was such a tragic loss for the family that we were able to show that that property owner knew, or should have known, that it was foreseeable, based on prior experiences at this property, that there could have been harm done to its residents there, and they didn't do enough to protect those interests. And it takes a lot in those cases to prove, including a history and consulting with experts in the field of criminal law enforcement and security. A lot of them that we utilize are police chiefs, FBI agents, and so forth, who do an analysis, a forensic type analysis of the property, types of crimes that have been around in the area, other incidents, and so forth. And they assist in us evaluating the claim and building a case to show that the property owner failed and breached their duty to protect those people who came upon the property. And this could be the same, for example, at a Macy's, if something were to happen, at a Walmart, somebody gets accosted in the parking lot with a purse snatching or something to that effect. So those are types of cases that we help to help our clients recover compensation when they're injured, or even, unfortunately, when they're killed in such instances.
Okay, good. Wow. And then, like I asked you in the previous one, was this like extraordinarily challenging, or was it something that is pretty smooth and the case kind of spoke for itself, or was there like some kind of specialist that needed to get involved, or?
Like most wrongful death cases, this one they are challenging. There's rarely a case, Mike, that's so clear cut that they're not issues that we have to contend with in the case that don't make it, a no-brainer, so to speak, to use that term. So there were some challenges to the case, and it did take our utilization of experts.
Okay.
Ultimately, we were able to achieve a resolution of the case. I think you asked in a prior
Yeah.
talk we had about how long did this case take? Well, this one was the opposite. I mentioned that prior case took a few years. This one only took less than a year
Okay. Okay.
because we were able to build a case actually during pre-suit. We didn't even have to file a lawsuit here to present it to the other parties, to be the insurance carrier for the complex, so to speak, and to the satisfaction of the client, we were able to resolve it with over a seven-figure settlement on the matter.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And then when you recall this case, like what made you take the case? Like, what was it about the case that, you know, I know you're pretty busy. You have a lot of cases that you're dealing with. Like, what was it about this case that motivated you to take it?
Well, like all cases, there's obviously we have interest in our firm and so forth, but the primary motivation, of course, is to assist and help our client get the results in the particular case. If we're presented with a case that has obviously a basis to it, and someone is in grief and in need, that's what we attorneys do. We represent them as counsel and advocate for them very strongly and try to get a positive result in order to assist this family in their time of grief. It's not an easy process, and sometimes they need professionals outside of their grief, so to speak, to help them with this matter that's they're already dealing with enough in the first place. And it's something, that we as attorneys, we think we just do the legal work and so forth. But it's something that, you want to help these people lift that burden off. They're already going through enough. Let us assist them and represent their interests in that regard.
Great. All right. All right. Well, we're going to come back for episode 3. And as we continue this conversation with JP Gosh Law Talks, and we're going to talk a little bit about this toxic tort mold case that you shared with me, that was just a real beneficial experience for this client. So we'll be right back, folks.